Comes to love, is it the appearance that matters, or is it what's on the inside that counts? Many people say it's what's on the inside, because it's bad if you just get taken in by someone's appearance. But in this case, adventurer, will you become my lover? Faced with having to fall in love with a skeleton, he would really like to opt for appearance on this matter. His name is Arwen, an adventurer making a living by slaying monsters. One day, he took a job to clear out all the monsters that had settled in an old castle that had been destroyed hundreds of years ago. After slaying almost all the monsters, he found a strange-looking coffin in the throne room, and when he opened it, "Let us be united in love," he woke up a weird skeleton. In a brief explanation, the skeleton reveals herself to be Luria ol Sinariel, the princess of this ruined castle. She explains that 100 years ago an evil wizard ravaged the castle and turned her into a skeleton. She spent a century, sealed away in slumber until Arwen's curious hands opened her coffin. A troubled Arwen is in disbelief, finding her suggestion ridiculous. But the princess assures him that to lift the curse she must receive a kiss from someone that loves her. She promises a happy ending that they'll achieve with the power of love. She'll return back to her previous form and he'll get a gorgeous girlfriend to spend his days with. He's still skeptical, telling her that something like that won't lift the curse, but she protests. She is sure that a curse can be broken by true love's kiss. She read it in a variety of fairy tales. She grabs his shoulders with her skeleton hands and begins pleading with him to love her in an aggressive tone, causing the adventurer to sweat nervously. He tells her that it's just impossible for him to love a skeleton. She looks at him, disappointed, scolding him for only valuing appearance. He retorts back at her, telling her that surely she understands that it's impossible to fall in love with a skeleton. With a sparkle in her eye, she once again declares that what truly matters is the heart. It's what's inside that counts. With her hands placed daintily on the side of her face, she boasts that she has a great personality. And he replies that people that boast about their great personality are often the opposite. With a sigh, he asks her what her most appealing quality was. And with a gesture with her bony hand, she declares that she is quite rich. She brags that she was once called the most beautiful girl in the country. She encourages him to put up with her skeleton form for now, promising that if her curse is broken he'll receive fame, riches, and a beautiful girl to top it off. It's as he expected, her personality really is quite bad. She begs with teary eyes, just 1 week, she repeats. He is taken aback, finding it strange why the deadline is so specific. With her hands clasped nervously, she reveals that after 1 week her curse will become unliftable and she will turn into a monster for real. He buries his face on his hand, feeling quite overwhelmed. She prostrates herself onto the floor, begging desperately for him to fall in love with her. She does not want to turn into a monster. She does not want to lose her consciousness and start attacking people. The sight was so pitiable that he found it hard to turn her down. Reluctantly he agrees, causing the skeleton to let out a delighted cry. "Don't complain if I fail," he tells her, looking quite nervous and unsure. "Of course not," she replies with a wide smile. Her skeletal hands grip on his hand lovingly, and with that, their strange love story starts. The princess gleams with pride as she presents a full-course meal to the adventurer, leaving him speechless. With a smile she encourages him to start eating, although he's quite hesitant. Surely the skeleton that's lacking a tongue has not tasted her own dishes. He picks up a spoon and throws caution to the wind, scooping up a spoonful of soup. His eyes widen with surprise, completely blindsided. With a delighted and confused expression he lets his feeling be known. "It's really good," he says, amazed. "Isn't it?" she replies, amused. She boasts about how even though she's merely a skeleton she can cook, clean and do the laundry. She has been practicing. The man continues to feast but stops as he notices the skeleton coming closer. "So, do my girlfriend points go up?" she asks with an adorable pose, her hands behind her, her head tilted. He takes a moment to choose his words carefully, finding that honesty would be best. "I've certainly started to change my mind a bit," he answers, gulping down the food that was in his mouth. He praises her cooking skills, the soup being his favorite, surprising the girl. She then reveals that she used herself as the main ingredient for the bone broth, taking a dip inside the boiling pot as it boiled. The revelation causes the man to spit out the soup, disgusted and annoyed. He snaps at her in complete disbelief. She reassures him that it was merely a one-time thing and that it was something that she wanted to try at least once. The sun sinks, subtracting one day until the deadline. The next day, the light shines through the windows, causing the sleepy adventurer to wake up. As he opens his eyes, he is greeted with a strange sight so early in the morning, leaving him once again speechless. The strange sight greets him good morning and asks if he enjoyed cuddling together. He responds, deadpan, that it wasn't really fun. Sleeping with a skeleton isn't really that thrilling. He declares, scratching his head and picking himself up from the bed. How many points have I earned sleeping next to you? She asks with a soft tone. 0, the skeleton could not believe it. She yells that she even pressed her boobs on him. He retorts by saying that she doesn't even have any. He brushes his teeth as the girl continues proposing other ideas for their bond to grow closer, like a lap pillow. He dismisses that suggestion, surely placing his head on her stripped skeleton thighs would be hard and unpleasant. So, which romantic activity would you like to try today? And so they spend their days together. Reading books in the library. Chatting away and enjoying the breeze, polishing the man's swords together and making each other floral crowns. He spent some strange days with his loving skeleton. Night comes and with a lantern in hand he goes back to visit the library once more. His eyes narrows as he spots a particular diary. He begins reading. The first few pages shows the struggle of the king that is desperately trying to cure his daughter. There was no price too big, but even so, he was running out of options. Dozens of doctors have given up and time was running out. In an act of desperation, the king entertained the proposal of a sketchy wizard that he wholeheartedly did not trust, but he was running out of options. His reading is interrupted by a strange feeling coming from beyond the door. With the lantern in hand he begins to investigate. But with no one in sight he decides it was just his imagination. He closes the door, deciding that he'll take a bath. As he leaves, a shambling presence is left in the darkness of the library. Awakening. Kaya, Adventurer-san, you pervert. The skeleton covers her ribs, blushing. The man glares at her, annoyed. There was nothing to see. She has literally been naked all this time. The man sees through her, pointing out the flaws in her plan. Did you heart jump? She asks, still shielding her ribs. Not really. This shocks her. She's in utter disbelief. She was completely naked and still there was no reaction. Can you really call that naked? He yells back at her. She eagerly washes his back. That's what lovers do after all. As she continues, his mind wanders back to the contents of the diary he read before, and so he was about to ask her a question regarding her affliction, but he bites his tongue and decides not to pry further. His avoidance worries her, but she too moves on from the subject. She notes that she has noticed a problem. Even though they were a couple, they don't address each other with proper names. Wouldn't it only be proper to call each other by our first names, Arwen? He turns his head to face her, agreeing with her proposal. That's right, Luria. The skeleton stares at him blankly without another word, causing him to feel awkward. With a red blushing face he pleads with her to say something. She bursts with emotion, a blush in her white bones. It just feels so right. Is it strange that I feel happy about this? I really am just a little girl inside. He sighs with exhaustion. Embarrassed by the whole situation, just leave that aside and continue washing my body, Luria. Enthusiastically she eagerly continues, rinsing off the shampoo with all her love. They head back to their bed chambers together, refreshed. Arwen plops down onto the bed while an excited Luria informs him about her desire to cross another line with him, but he rejects her proposal, pointing out this it is quite physically impossible. She grumbles, finding his standards quite high if he rejects the most beautiful girl in the country. He dismisses her words, saying that she doesn't even have a face and just wanting the subject to be over with. He suddenly picks himself up, causing Luria to wonder what got him so spooked. He tells her about a strange feeling, something she's quite confused about. He sighs and picks up his sword, heading out with Luria. Luria, are we the only ones in the castle right now? A hesitant Luria answers that it should be the case, but, with a lamp in hand they begin to investigate, Luria cautiously behind him. As they continue through the halls, Arwen asks if it was possible that the intruder could be the evil wizard that cursed her. Luria with a grim expression simply reveals that it's impossible because she had killed her quite a while ago, impressing Arwen. He informs her that earlier while he was in the library he felt something strange in the storage room next door, surprising her. They stop by the door. The strange feeling was so powerful now that even Luria begins to feel it. As he carefully opens the door, it reveals quite a shocking sight. The door opens, revealing a pair of skeletons. One was wearing a long gown made from the finest of silk, while the skeleton in front wears a crown on his head and holds a sword on his hand. Arwen is surprised as the skeletons come closer, moaning and groaning. Luria moves forward, unable to believe her eyes. "Father, mother," she calls out to them. Rushing forward, she starts running, her arms held wide for a hug, calling out to her parents with tears in her eyes, so glad to see them again. The skeleton answers her joy with a heavy slash that left Luria confused and screaming, dropping to the floor.